Hi, everyone. I'm Liz Hunt.
I'm Chelsea Poppens.
And this is the Agency Rocket Show, where we discuss the general chaos of running a creative business.
Woo. And today we are going to be discussing branding with our very special guest, Brett Clarke.
Extra special.
Brett Clarke.
Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you.
I will pretend and say I'm excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. You're so excited. Don't give us that, Brett.
Rude.
I know you're excited.
But Brett Clarke is with Foster's Mercantile. They just did their branding with DayCloud Studios, and we just really want to talk to him about that process. And he's done branding with us in the past, so I might be able to dig into that a bit more.
Okay, so tell us about your businesses. Tell us about your background. Tell us about Foster's. Give us the spiel.
Sure. Okay, so we'll kind of go through a few things here, and I apologize if I kind of go here, there, and everywhere, but hopefully you can kind of be my guide rails here and keep me on track. So Foster's Mercantile, we are opening this fall in downtown Elkhorn here outside of Omaha, and we are a boutique, niche, home decorating supply store. So we'll have everything from, we always joke that we'll have candles and socks to original art to kitchen utilities, linens, towels, all sorts of things, high-end home items. We felt like there was a niche here in Omaha to do that kind of high-end thing. I always ask people a lot of times in Omaha, if you were going to buy nice plates or dinnerware, where would you go? And there's really nowhere. Williams and Sonoma and Pottery Barn are lovely, but they're not really unique and extra special, right? So that was kind of the catalyst. And the whole reason this all comes together is my business partner and I have a couple of businesses together. So we have a home building business, Frontier Builders, that you guys helped us brand and do the website on. And then M. Woolman Design, which is an architectural design and interior design firm. So bringing all of that together, we have realized this need. So at M. Woolman, that team, Marshall and his team has done a tremendous amount of shopping for people in Kansas City or Denver for these items. And so we were doing that on so many projects. We thought, well, gosh, why don't we just bring all of these products and these businesses that we have relationships with here to Omaha? So we're kind of figuring it out as we go, right? A little bit, kind of shooting from the hip. I don't know if that's politically correct to say anymore, but that we're going to kind of find some needs from our clients and fulfill them, right? And carry those products. We also want to be a little different in that we may not always have the same things all the time. Like we may get 20 or 30 blankets in or something, or throws or pillows, and when they're gone, and we're on to the next thing. Or we may find cute backpacks. We may find fun barbecue things. We may find different sheet sets and things like that. And we'll always be able to order things for clients, but we really orient our store to be pretty agile and to be changing constantly. So I always tell people it's kind of like Costco, right? When you find some delicious treat at Costco and you buy it, and then all of a sudden one day it's gone forever. And that's the kind of why, right? So we want people to come in for certain things, but then we're also we want to kind of stay ahead of things and not always have the same things all the time. Okay, so that's Foster's Mercantile. Frontier Builders, we're a custom home builder here in Omaha, pretty much $1 million and up now, new homes, and then kind of $150,000 to $200,000 and up home remodel, basement finish, addition. We say those numbers because everybody asks us those numbers, but really it's more about the fit. So we'll do any job, any size, just depending on if it's a fit for us and for the client. And then M. Woolman Design is a high-end architectural and interior design firm. And then the fourth part that I haven't mentioned is kind of a mix of all of this, which is Foster's for the Trade. So we are developing that. That is it's a piece of the interior design and a piece of the store. And we exist to empower independent interior designers in Omaha. So there's a lot of designers that work at larger firms because that allows them access to certain retailers, certain suppliers of furniture. And the only way to get access to those and have those relationships is by a minimum volume per year. So we're going to leverage our relationships and then allow interior designers to own and operate their own independent business, and then be we'll call it a member of Fosters for the Trade, which we will allow them access to all of those relationships with the vendors. That includes then us helping with delivery, install, billing, invoicing, operations, software, proposals, accounting. All of that side of it is kind of a one-stop shop. So then that allows those designers to run their own business and not have to be attached to one of the big design firms in town and be on, commission. Sorry, that's a big fancy word for a Monday morning. So it allows them to run all their business, or it allows them to run their business without having to be, kind of stuck at one of the design firms working the showroom and getting very little commission.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted? Sorry, I just talked.
Yeah.
I start to explain things, I just black out and I forget where I am. So feel free to jump in anytime.
I love that. I was stuck on shooting from the hip. I was like, it's still relevant for basketball purposes.
No, I love it. That's awesome. So let's talk about, what's it like being someone like yourself who has all these different businesses, and having to work.
Sorry,
but having to work with a branding agency, marketing agency us,
Can my answer be the same? Businesses. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, but obviously we have to work together a lot. And you and I have been friends outside of the agency. We're at the same country club together for a while, and our daughters play together. And, so there's kind of different layers to this. What's it like in that regard?
Okay, great question. So, great question, by the way, is my stall while I think of an answer. Okay.
I know, that's why I asked it.
Okay, so let me peel back some of the layers of the onion here, right? So, obviously, there's a huge advantage for your squad when they're working with me because you know me. Now, that's not the answer that all of your clients are going to want to hear when they don't know you, but I do, you probably want me to say how amazing your team is at getting to know people and taking their inner story out. But let me combine two things here, because your team did not know Marshall or Gary, right? My business partners, but you did know me. And so I think what's kind of neat of what you guys have been able to do is getting down through the process to get to know the core of what our brand is. So I always tell people that you guys are really good at discovering our brand, not creating it, because everybody has a brand within them, and you just have to find that. Now, anybody can create a logo and fonts and colors and say, oh, this is your brand. So any brand and assign it to a business. But what's been so cool about working with you guys in particular, and any designer that's really worth their salt, right, is that they're able to find the brand that already exists. So in working with Gary and Marshall and you guys dug down into core values, core styles, core tastes, and then we're able to pull that out. So really, you took what brand, what vibe, what mantra, whatever, all of the creative words that you use to make it sound fancy, all of those things you actually just discovered. You didn't even create. So hopefully that doesn't offend you as artists, right? But no. I always felt like you discovered it rather than creating it. Because you could go online and pay for someone to assign a brand to you, right? And you could have a contest with all these computer programmers in the world, and they're going to give you 5,000 logos for $7, and then you pay $20 to the person that you choose. But that's not really what that was about. It was a much more intimate process. So as painful as that can be sometimes to those of us that aren't creative, and as rude as I was through some of those meetings, you really were able to kind of harness that. So the other thing that's interesting is that you have Foster's that is a combination of three people's brands, Frontier that's two, and M. Wallman that's really 100% the brand of one person, but then you have a really opinionated person sitting there saying, what it has nothing to do with that person. And so managing all of that has been really cool and easy, because I don't ever feel like you guys were forcing anything on us. You were just kind of showing us what we knew we kind of were and wanted to reflect. I don't know if that's making any sense, but like, it has allowed me, who's a control freak, to really say, hey, look, they have this, we trust this team. And I knew you were going to discover that in us, instead of just forcing some stupid trendy logo on us that I was going to have to fight you on. It was much more of a, hey, this is actually what it is. So it just always made sense.
Yeah.
And there's still the like, oh wow, this is so cool. There's still all that fun new car smell. Oh my gosh, I love this brand. I want it on coasters and t-shirts and polos and hats and on the trucks and all that. Like, there's still that fun part, but it's really more of getting our inner core values into the imagery, if that makes sense. I'm really trying to use a lot of big words here that you guys use. So.
I will say you only fought us tooth and nail in the beginning. Like, after the Stylescape presentation, it was pretty smooth sailing, I think.
Sure. No, I agree. And I apologize if I came out. I just was like, hey, look, we're going to get everything out on the table now, instead of you doing something and I'm being like, well, actually, I didn't tell you all of this, so this sucks. Like, you kind of like, and I guess that's the biggest piece of, not advice, but like, if you're going to go through a branding process and you're going to pay a firm money to do that, you have to sit down and be yourself, because otherwise you're hiding, right? It's like, so if you go to the dentist, or at least when I go to the dentist, like, I floss occasionally, right? Like, I'm not a very good flosser, which I know is disgusting, but like, I just am not a flosser. I never have been. So when I sit in the dentist chair and if he asks if I floss, I'm like, yeah, not really. And then they always laugh and they're like, you have no idea how many people come in and like lie to our face that they floss, and we don't. So I guess my point is sometimes we close down anytime we're vulnerable, right? Especially as Americans, that's like, everything's fine, everything's amazing, my day's great, my life's great. And I mean, Instagram's made billions of dollars off of the American state of mind that we have to show everyone that everything's okay. But that's a whole other topic. But my point is, though, is like, if you don't, when you sit down to get branded or be branded or have your company branded, it's a very personal experience. So you have to get it all out on the table. Otherwise, you're going to hate everything. If you don't give you guys all of the information, then how can I expect you to do a good job if I don't give you the information?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the ways that I love what you're saying, Brett, and I had no idea that you were going to be so complimentary. I did not expect that.
Well,
thank you.
I want the check you're sending to clear, so I had to do that.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, Brett is also remodeling my basement. Wow, so it's a quid pro quo here. Okay, but I love what you're saying. It's such a beautiful way of like talking about how we build brands, because you are exactly right. It is like, the way that we do it, specifically at DayCloud, is more about discovering who the client is, and then helping them visually wrap that, more than saying, okay, client, this is who you are. What I like to say is that we are mining for gold, that we are, mining for the gold that's already there, and we're just looking for it to find the gold that's already there. And so that's really that's how I like to say that that's our brand discovery process, is that we're mining for the gold that's already there. So I love that you even articulated that, Brett. It's awesome. That's so cool.
Cool. You didn't even have to talk about it.
I know.
If it was in Chelsea's outline that we reviewed prior, it was too small to read anyway. So I don't.
I told you. Thank you for saying that, Brett. I've been telling her that for 2 years, and she never zooms in for me.
So if there's regular listeners of this, I promise that the participant and guests were not prepared at all. So everything you hear is correct.
Shots fired. Let's just say that these old eyes people could not see my spreadsheet.
Oh my goodness!
Okay.
No, again, I have $12,000 eyes. Okay,
because she doesn't mean she's a robot. She got them fixed.
I beg to differ. I do think that they put robots inside of my eyeballs. Here's the thing, Brett. My eyes were so. Have I told you this before? My eyes were so bad that I couldn't get normal LASIK. I had to get the Vision ICL or something. I can't remember if that's what it's called. The Vision ICL, where it's like your eyes are so bad they can't do LASIK. They have to do an actual eye surgery. Okay. And so it's a totally different surgery.
Have your designs gotten way better now that you're not blind?
Yes.
Or
so much better.
Okay. May want to put that as a disclaimer that you're blind, but let you be their graphic designer. That's kind of a.
Here's the thing. I'm not blind anymore though, because now I have whole new eyes.
She paid a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Except for Chelsea's screen sharing situation. Still nobody can see them. Not even my new robot
I'm going to say
eyes.
a disclaimer. Yeah. It's not just my spreadsheets that you see Liz and they're just get really close to then it's zooms, it's other things.
Chelsea, no. It's you. It's not a me problem. It's definitely a you problem.
It's not me, it's you.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I like how you said that you were able to get vulnerable with us because it is a very long meeting. I think, did we have drinks in our discovery process?
Brett doesn't drink, so no.
I mean, I might have.
But you probably all needed it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, no, I mean, I think you have to be, otherwise you're doing you a disservice. And coming from the design, may or may not have a background in marketing as well. Plus then with home design and things, we have clients that won't be open with us. We spend months designing a house and then all of a sudden they're, well, actually what I really wanted. And then it's like, why? And it's cost us time. It's cost you thousands of dollars. And now sometimes, to be totally honest, it just takes them a while to figure it out. That's also fair. It does take time people to figure it out. But at the end of the day, most of the time people already know and they're ashamed or afraid to say it. I don't totally understand why, but like I said, when you go to the dentist and you lie and you tell them you flossed all the time, even though you know you haven't. And maybe the whole world flosses other than me, but it's just kind of an interesting thing how guarded we are when people actually start. And you're in a situation where you're paying someone to discover and you sit there and are dishonest. It's bizarre.
Yeah. I think it also helps because we have the mild, medium, and spicy version. So then you're kind of gearing towards people who might lean towards that more conservative space rather than a wild approach to their brand.
Sure. And most of the time people aren't as bold or ballsy as they want to be. Right. So we have clients that want we want to do crazy contemporary. It's going to be so badass and so edgy and and then they build a pretty pathetic home with 3 rectangle windows and it's that is not contemporary.
We don't have any idea what you're talking about, Brett. None of our clients ever do that for sure.
No, most people are all talk.
Yeah. So. Oh man. Okay, so tell me about what your thoughts were on the mild, medium, and spicy. How was it on your end when we presented those 3 options? Did you like it? Did you feel like they legitimately were kind of a mild, medium, and spicy versions and concepts? Do you remember it?
I would have had I been able to read the outline, but no, I do. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. So let me be critical first, and then I'll be positive to wrap it up. So the critical part is I go back to we're paying you to help tell us what we need to be as a brand. So part of the downside is, as we're looking at them, it's like, we don't know. And we would have known, if we would have known, we wouldn't have needed you. So because we don't know, we need you to tell us now. And it did create a little bit of conflict internally from a logo. Well, I like this logo. Well, do you like that logo? Well, if you like that logo, that's fine. Well, you're just saying you like that logo because I like that logo, and then it's like, well, I don't care what logo. Well, if you don't care, I need you to care. Like, there's all these back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So that's the downside. That's also part of the refiner's fire. So what I mean by that is, by looking at 3, we were able to come to 1. And I don't remember what was spicy, medium, and mild. I'm sorry. I don't remember Chipotle, which one's spicy, medium, and mild. I just know the size of the tomatoes in the salsa. So I guess what I'm saying is that it allowed us to go through a process. And yes, that process. So internally, as you guys know, in Chelsea, you had to send us like 917 emails like, hey, are you ready to commit? But like, it took us a little longer. But then at the end of the day, probably the best thing that I can say about that is, we were able to decide on 1 and knew it was the one we liked.
Yeah.
Because we knew it wasn't the other ones. Whereas sometimes I feel like, okay, let's go back to the Frontier days. Yeah. We weren't really giving them spicy, medium, and mild or whatever.
Yeah. We had 2 options that then.
Right. And 1 was awful and 1 was good. And so then it was like, well, there's not even competition, right? And that's no offense to you guys. It's just the 1 was like, meh. So my point is that I doubt the Foster's logo less than I did the Frontier one. Took me a while because I'm like, well, what if? Well, what if? Well, what if we saw one like this? So, I mean, I'm sold and we love the Frontier branding, but then on the Fosters, there wasn't as much doubting because we knew it wasn't the other ones.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then we were able to put some of the spicy in it, right? So, like, we were taking some of the elements of 1, which ironically, so here's what's funny. Here's a go sidetrack here. Okay.
Go for it.
So way back when in our office, Marshall is a unique soul, and he likes estate sales, and he'll go and buy stuff with our money that makes me upset. But
he's the designer.
Yes.
Yes.
So he goes to these estate sales and he finds these kind of crazy things. And we used to have a gal that worked for us who was terrified of birds, like anything birds, like even like bird wallpaper, bird anything. Okay, so this one estate sale, he found this bird. It's like you can like clip it to like a plant and it became a joke in the office that like we would put this on people's desks or like,
oh my goodness,
we'd like clip them. Like I have a soda problem. And so like I'd find it on like, let's see, lemonade, I'm trying to quit. But like we would find it clipped on things. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So here, people listening, if they haven't stopped the podcast or like, here we come full circle. In this branding process, one of the questions was what animal, or you say, I'm going to butcher it. What was the question?
Oh, yes.
Do you guys remember?
If your brand were an animal, what animal would it be?
Correct. Okay. And my answer was songbird, completely unrelated to this, just because songbirds, they're pretty, but they're loud and obnoxious and they think they could like fight a coyote, even though they're just like a little bird. Right.
Right.
And the meadowlark happens to be Nebraska's state bird, and we're trying to tie in all the Nebraska stuff. Anyway, so in one of the logos that came back, there was a bird. I don't know, Chelsea, you can't share it live unless you're like amazing, but maybe in the podcast you can like put it up and it'll be all cool. Anyway, there she goes. Type.
I am pretty amazing.
that bird ended up in one of the spiciness levels.
Yes.
But it wasn't in the logo level that we had liked. So we kind of came full circle where the one brand that looked like Fender guitar had the bird, right? I think.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And so we combined it. And so we're going to use the bird in Foster's, like on employees' aprons or thank you cards, or just kind of randomly. I don't want to use the word mascot, but kind of, right? Like it randomly shows up in the brand. So anyway, there you go. There's the cheesy, dorky, full circle that we have this bird around the office to terrorize people, and it happened to it's my turn with the bird, and it was like clipped on to the power cord of my keyboard, and she was just sitting here listening to the podcast, and I'm like, I've got to mention this because this is crazy how
that is so funny.
This is my little.
So anyway,
there's the bird that we ended up incorporating.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So maybe that's of no interest to anyone but the three of us. But anyway, kind of crazy, right? I hadn't even told you that like
that's so crazy.
This bird like follows us around. Yeah, see, that's so cool. Yeah.
So did you do it to torment the person that works for you that's scared of the birds?
Not so.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, it had nothing. So the songbird thing literally came to me that day as we were sitting there. So it had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with it. Also, though, another sidetrack. This is totally a Brett Clarke sidetrack. So there is a new app that allows you to, because my youngest daughter thinks birds are pretty, and she's always like, "What bird's that? What bird's that?" Anyway, and we're building a house kind of on some land, and there's always a bunch of birds in the trees. But there's a freaking app that you can open up, and it like listens to the bird, or you can like scan a picture of the bird, and it will tell you what kind of bird it is.
That's sweet.
That's of no value to anyone in the world that is listening to this.
My mom would love that app.
I know. I think it's cool.
So it like proves my point.
Yeah.
That there's an app for everything. Okay, last sidebar, and we can market this. You can, if you guys don't want to help me market my app idea, then I will do this. But
let's do it.
Okay. So you know the star app, and you take your phone and you like point it up at the stars, and it like tells you what all the stars are.
Yes.
Okay. How about an app that when you're on an airplane, you can hold the phone up to the window of the airplane, and it will show you everything you see out of the airplane and like point at like, oh, this is this city, and here's where the Grand Canyon. Like it shows you what you're looking at out the plane window.
I don't know how profitable that'd be, but
yep, you're both fired. I'm going to find somebody else to market it.
I mean,
you can go ahead and
already do that.
I wouldn't pay for it to be downloaded to my phone.
No, that's fine. Play the music.
No, that's fine.
Play the music. Podcast is over. I'm out. You guys don't like it, so that's fine. Okay, well, that's fine. Well, when this app works and I'm a billionaire, I'll fly you out to one of my compounds and you can...
I'd rather do that anyway.
And P.S. airplanes do not do it at all. You have like a stupid screen from like... Yeah, no. And it's like the plane is like half the size of the country, and it like, oh, like no crap, I'm over the state of Colorado. I want to know like specifics of like what I'm looking at.
I could see like Google Maps doing something like that because they have like Google Translate where you point at like a piece of paper and it translates it.
Yeah.
And I could see them just doing like, here's the you know how maps you can go like geo.
Yeah, but Google doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
They buy
so the point would be, we would build it and then sell it to Google. That would be the whole point.
Yeah. That's no one does anything.
Billionaires.
That is correct. Mm-hmm. That is correct. We take Google's money. Yes.
Not against it.
Okay, anyway, I digress. What was the question?
I guess we could. Cool. I guess, what were your expectations coming in, and then how did they change throughout, or by the end of it?
Did they have to have changed?
They don't have to have changed. No.
So my expectation is that we'd have a cool, kick-ass, marketable brand that the public and our target audience would be drawn to, but then also I would be proud of and think was super cool. Mm-hmm. And I think as of right now, what did I expect? That's what I expected.
I mean, what did you, for like the process, I guess?
I had no idea. I have very little expectations. I'm the youngest child.
The bar was low for us.
The bar is super low for, yes. I had very little expectations. No. I guess that's an unfair question for me to answer completely honestly, just because I've known you guys, particularly Liz, I've known for so long.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying your question sucks, but I don't know that I can answer it fairly.
You could just be like, I expected to end up with a quality brand at the end of it. And I feel like
Sure.
his side note, he's holding
Can you-
on to words that he can only say in person and not like via the podcast.
Can you just
like,
use what you just said, except like edit it to move my mouth and it'll be your voice?
I
No, like-
expected
What he expected is the outcome that he got.
Yeah, I mean, if you go buy a car, what do you expect? You expect it to start, drive, turn, stop. Like I guess.
Except for BMWs, right, Brett?
So he's saying
Aside-
that he wanted a
Let's keep this positive.
you wanted a functional brand and you ended up with a functional brand.
No, I'm not.
Way
I'm not
more
that
than
boring.
that. Whoa. Our brands
I
are
wanted-
way better than functional.
Hold on. I said I wanted a badass brand that would appeal to our target market and us. I feel like that was a fair answer. I feel
That's
like
a
you're
good
being
one.
mean
Yeah,
to
it's
my
a
answer.
Great answer.
If you rewind, it's in there.
Rewind the tape.
Yeah.
All right.
The other
that's a
thing
good
too
answer.
that you expect quirky from creative, and I think your team emulates that. Like for instance, I don't like if I went into a branding agency and there were a bunch of guys in golf polos and runners, because I wear runners every day because I'm old, right? Like if I went in and you guys all drove a pickup truck, had golf polos and runners on, I'd be like, why are we hiring these people to do this? This is stupid, right? It's just like all winter. I wear jeans and plaid because that's what I'm supposed to wear as a builder, and it's cozy and comfortable.
So,
But my
Brett,
point
if
is that-
I started driving a truck, would you not hire me?
Probably not.
But my Camry did it.
No, but I don't want to go into. I don't want to have to lecture you guys on what a brand is in front of your audience and embarrass you. But I think there is a big part of business to being on brand.
Yeah.
So, as a builder, I mean, I could do my job from a two-door Honda Civic, but I can't because of the brand. I have to show up in a pickup truck for clients, and I have to show up in a pickup truck for subs for my contractors. Like there are certain things you have to do on brand.
Yeah. Great.
And that's the world we live in, right? When you go on Target, everybody wears red. That's on brand.
Yeah. What about?
And by
so
the way,
this is-
never wear red to Target or you'll get asked questions. You can't, because they just let people wear whatever. They're like old, washed up, wrinkly polos that all these 20-year-old somethings wear at Target, and wrinkly khakis. They're untucked. Their hair's a mess. At least at Walmart, they make them wear a vest. Like no one, I've never been in Walmart and be like, does that person work here? Whereas in Target, it's like you're like trying to find where's Waldo. You're like, that guy's in red. Does he work here? Anyway, okay, sorry. That's a whole other branding project. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so, but one thing I do want to ask you, kind of your opinion on, as a client who, has been on the agency side, but also been obviously on the client side, where do you think like quirkiness ends and professionalism kind of should begin? Like, where is kind of that balance of finding the two? In
2023, I don't believe it exists. I believe that people want an experience and people want a personal experience. And
Wait,
I froze. I don't believe that there is an area, because in 2023, I believe that that's what people want. They want the experience and they want the intimate experience, especially when it's something as personal as design. I guess I would say also that if they don't want that, then they're not a fit. So you can go buy logos online for like super cheap. Sorry if I wasn't supposed to say that, but like you can get brands for like $7 Canadian. Like it's not that expensive at all.
I'm Canadian.
Because it adds a little more value to it. These books are super expensive there. I grew up thinking books were super expensive in Canada, but anyway, that's a different story.
Because it says U.S. and Canada on the back of books.
I'm like, why would one buy this in Canada? That's crazy expensive. Okay, so no, but my point is that the quirkiness and intimacy is what you pay someone in your business to do.
Yeah.
And if someone is offended by or closed off to that, then that's not a fit.
Yeah.
I that's against any branding agent. I mean, you wouldn't hire, like if you hire somebody to do your taxes, you can't, where's the line there? They have to know thing you eat, whatever you bought on Amazon that was unmentionable. Like your accountant knows everything. So like, I think it's unfortunate that in different situations those lines are drawn. And I'm not saying that it needs to be inappropriate, but the quirkiness line, I don't think there is a quirkiness line.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean,
yes,
your
I'm
office
gonna remember this next time. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, but even you drive east like 120 blocks every morning because apparently you can't be creative east of 680 or west of 680. So like but that is that's on brand, right? You park your car in a tiny little parking space and pretend you like the restaurants around there, even though the portions are tiny.
Okay,
is super high.
Whoa! Like the restaurants around our neighborhood are amazing.
I agree.
Okay, different subject. Anyway, the point is
you can't
everything
park
has
your giant truck in our neighborhood.
Well, we have restaurants out here too that have ovens and food and milk and honey and all of the necessary things. But
they're in strip malls.
I don't care. That's a very short-sighted thing for you to say, that because of the location thing is how the food tastes.
Different brands.
Anyway, so something has to be in an old, musty-smelling building for the food to be good?
Our building does not smell musty.
It has character.
I'm talking about restaurants, not your office space. But
okay, that's good. I was like, because if it does, I need to talk to somebody.
No, your office is moldy, not musty. But the point is that I believe in today's world that it shouldn't matter, nor should location, nor should brand, right? It shouldn't matter what car I drive. If I'm capable of building a home, I'm capable of doing that. Shouldn't matter if your office is in Elkhorn or Papillion or Gretna or Blackstone or Midtown or Benson or whatever. It doesn't matter if what size jeans you wear, if you have a handlebar mustache, or none of that should matter. But our expectations culturally and society-wise is that people are on brand. Does that make sense? So, but the whole reason you guys even have a business, if brand didn't matter, you would not have a job.
Yeah, it's true.
I also think that 95% of branding is existence. So I argue that people look at our Instagram to make sure we have an Instagram more than to look at Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you're keeping it updated, that the last post wasn't from 4 years ago. Yeah. Reasonably.
Yeah. But I don't need, and we've had this conversation, and you guys have been awesome at this, because there's a lot of agency around that are like, you need 74 posts a day. No, I don't. Yeah. I need to have enough posts to stay relevant, which is 1 or 2 a week. I could even argue less. Yes. So it's all about credibility, which is part of branding. All of this is existence and trust, because trust is what you're after. Trust is the magic key. We'll build a house for someone the second they trust us. Yeah. And the brand assists us in gaining that trust. Yeah. It is 100% in the service industry. It's all about trust. I'll go into Target and buy whatever from people in there, and you don't have to trust your cashier, but you're not going to, in a service business, you have to trust that person. Even when somebody comes over to service your air conditioner, if you don't trust them, you struggle with them in your home, and you probably won't use them again, even if they did a fantastic job. If you don't trust the guy that was there, you'll never use them again. So trust in America in 2023 is huge. That has nothing to do with your question. So I'll stop talking.
No, that's great.
Luckily, we already had your trust being Liz's friend and working with you previously. So that made the process much easier. Well, I think it's time to wrap up. But thanks for joining us, Brett.
Awesome.
It was good to hear your opinion of how everything went. And you made a lot of really good points about the branding process, and you're being vulnerable and discovering the brand, not just slapping a label on a brand and being like, just take this and run with it. So
fair enough.
Thanks for joining us. We talked to Brett today about branding and his experience with DayCloud Studios, building out his brand. If you like this podcast, share, follow, send some feedback. That sounds good. Thanks for listening.